What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're back with career mode part number 5 for the Spanish Grand Prix. As you can see here, we're actually doing another contract renewal negotiation. As it turned out, I quit the game after leaving the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, but I didn't progress to the next round. So I've been given another shot because my progress didn't save. So we're trying to negotiate a better deal. I think in the last one I didn't give myself any perks in terms of upgrade speed. So what I'm doing different this time is I'm making myself the second driver, but I'm going to hopefully get better contract perks out of it. So we'll have to wait and see. So I was trialing and erroring with lots of different things, and the agreement came to level 1 for everything except for pit stop efficiency.
All right, the terms have been agreed. All that's left is to sign the paperwork. You'll be on this new deal from the next race weekend.
Awesome. So that is our contract sorted. So it's slightly better. We're not first driver, so we don't get the bonuses that we did in our previous contract, but now our upgrades will be made faster from now onwards. So we'll see how it goes. We got 1,400 resource points. I feel like the resource point gain this year is a little bit faster. That's certainly more satisfying. It just means that progression can be faster if you do put in the work and if you're a little bit lucky. Just remember that we do have to spend more resource points further on in the season to save certain components of our development if there's a rule change next season. But in terms of upgrades, we're going to do a general wear upgrade 10% and also quality control, which will definitely help us further down the line.
Okay, we had the new parts come through from the factory. We'll get them on the car ahead of FP1.
Okay, so this is the start of the Spanish Grand Prix weekend. We have had upgrades go on the car, but the question is, how many? How many? All of them! We got all of the upgrades go on the car. 4 upgrades, and one of them was a major one. Not a single failure. That is incredible. That is something you do not see in F1 2017. And I have to say, that's very lucky. I feel like in other people's career modes, they've had failures already. But with all that going on the car, that's meant a massive, massive spike in performance. And we're in there with the midfield now. We're not a backmarker car. We are in the pack. That's so awesome. That has me so excited for the Spanish Grand Prix now. Let's get into practice and see how we do.
Welcome to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for the Spanish Grand Prix. Over the next few minutes, the teams will be heading out onto this classic Formula 1 track for what we're expecting to be a very hectic practice session.
Okay then, we've fitted some new parts for this session. Hopefully they'll help you squeeze a bit more pace from the car.
Thanks very much, Jeff. I appreciate your work and the rest of the team. Let's go out there now for Friday practice, do some practice programs, build up more resource points, and see how this car handles above all else. Hopefully this thing is pretty speedy. So we went for a major front downforce upgrade, we went for weight reduction, and we also got a power increase. So really, it's an improvement in all facets of the car. So yeah, it's going to be pretty darn speedy. And throughout the entirety of Friday practice, I was able to breeze through the practice programs, which was a nice change compared to the start of the season where we had to put in absolutely blistering laps just to beat them. But now it seems we can do it with ease. So I wonder if it's the same kind of situation we had in Season 1 of McLaren career mode, where we didn't upgrade the car for a while and everything just got progressively more difficult. But when the upgrades did apply, then the practice programs became easier, then the race results started coming in, and it was a much smoother experience. That seems to be the case of what's happening right now, and it's still 110 difficulty, I can promise you that. But sawed through everything, pretty much got all of the practice programs passed, which was awesome, and sets us up really nicely for the rest of the weekend. So without further ado, let's get into qualifying.
Here we are at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for the start of today's qualifying session. It won't be long now until we're ready to join the action down at trackside. So, could be a tasty one today then, Ants. We've got all the ingredients, that's for sure. Treacherous conditions, an ever-changing racetrack, and 1 or 2 cars just behind the pace setters who maybe, just maybe, fancy a bit of an upset after a good performance from them in free practice.
And the question has to be, of course, what is that circuit going to look like in 10 to 15 minutes from now? If you think the rain's going to get worse, then you have to be straight out when the lights go green to find whatever grip you can. But if it eases off, then you're better off waiting, saving the tyres, and going out at the perfect moment. The other thing that comes with these conditions? Traffic, and the lack of visibility that comes from sitting in the spray. It's going to be a constant problem, and I expect to see a lot of frustrated drivers with ruined laps out there today.
Ooh, we have an interesting qualifying session in prospect, guys. Welcome to Saturday qualifying. Looks like we have rain, and heavy rain at that, for the start of this session, and as always seems to be the case, it's going to get better as the session goes on. It's going to progressively get towards the light rain, so we'll see how it goes. I decided to wait out the start of the session when it was heavy rain. I went out about halfway through the session, bolted on the inters straight away, and this is our first lap across the line, P10. 1.4 seconds off. That is a lot closer of a delta than what we're used to. We're normally 2 seconds to 3 seconds off the pace, so to be that close straight away in the wet, very, very encouraging. And on this lap in particular, we're up by 2 seconds. So let's see what an improvement this is across. It's pole! Provisional pole for the first time in our career mode, and it only lasted for 2 seconds because Grosjean knocked us off of our perch there. But across the line, again, we improve only marginally, and it is P2. Seeing the lofty heights of P1 and P2 in 2 consecutive laps, I had to question the difficulty, and as you can see right there, it was 110, so no questioning the difficulty, no questioning the assists. I don't know why people would. The difficulty never changes. But yeah, what a session. Doesn't end in the best fashion there, going off the track there, but that should be us through to qualifying 2, just about. Let's scroll down. Oh yes, we're through just. 15th place. In the end there, 2.4 seconds off. Looks like in the final minutes, where I bottled that last lap, everyone improved somehow. So yeah, the track definitely was at its fastest towards the end. A shame I couldn't improve in the end there. I almost got knocked out, but it's the first time we're out in Q1. We managed to progress further than Q1, shall I say. So that's a welcome relief. We came close so many times over the first 4 races, but now we solidly do that, and now we can progress with our weekend. For session 2, intermediate conditions, but the track is still drying further. We could just about see dry tyres by the end of the session. I did 1 lap, and the track felt very, very dry. I felt like it was past the optimal conditions of the intermediate tyres, so I don't feel like I actually got the best out of the inters there in that session. So we're going to go out again. We're going to go on the soft compound tyres, because I have a feeling that some people are going to miss a trick here, and they're not going to improve on dry tyres. So if I make it into Q3, I don't want to limit myself to the softest compound. I want to go with the middle one and do a 1-stop in this race if I can, because the strategy looks like it might be marginal between a 1 and a 2, and I'd prefer to be on a 1-stop just to get that track position at the end. But so far on this lap, we're up by 7 seconds across the line. This might get us into Q3. I think it's P13. I just saw on the top left. Yeah, it was 13th place, so not good enough in the end. Again, everyone right at the death punching in absolutely Hollywood numbers in there. Those Red Bulls, with the time that they did, that was a little bit fishy. Both the Ferraris are out. They never went out again. They got complacent, and they have no track position because of that. But looking at the times that the front runners did, that is bone dry conditions kind of times that they did. And I don't think the track was nowhere near that level. The track needed to dry for another 10 minutes for those numbers to be punched out. So I think that was a bit odd how we were so far off the pace in the dry. But anyway, I can't complain. It's 13th place. It's my best qualifying of the season. We meet the team's new enhanced objectives. So they're happy. I'm happy. Let's go to the race.
Well done. That was a good qualifying performance.
Good afternoon from a very familiar setting. It's race day here in Spain, and with everything still to play for in the championship battle, there's no room for mistakes in a Grand Prix that's well known for creating them. Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The fence starts from pole position.
Keep your eyes open on the run to turn 1 and keep it clean. We want to come out in one piece. Good luck.
Thank you. Here we are, in our best starting position so far this season, 13th place. We're going to be doing a one-stop in this Grand Prix. Interesting to note as well that Valtteri Bottas, who had the monumental crash with us in the last episode, didn't get a race ban, didn't get penalised. I mean, he did take himself out of the Grand Prix, so I guess that's penalty enough, but still, he has actually bounced back really well and got a pole position. That is a mighty fine effort from him there. But for us, we're looking to just move forward. I've got my eyes fixed firmly forward on trying to beat the Toro Rossos, trying to beat the McLarens, the Renaults maybe, if we're really lucky. We could be best of the rest with our one stop. So let's see how it goes. 5 red lights for the Spanish Grand Prix, and we are underway. Not a great start again. We just don't put the power down very well versus some of our competitors, but heading into turn 1, we're definitely on the back foot here. We've got Vettel on our outside, but we're going to see if we can outbrake a couple of these guys. We go to the outside really just to avoid a crash. There's a Haas on the inside, spun on to the grass. I think that was Grosjean. We're getting tangled up with the Ferraris and also our teammate. That's Raikkonen up the inside through turn 3. Very chaotic start so far in this Spanish Grand Prix. Could there be a safety car for Grosjean who spun off on the inside? I think if there would have been, it might have came out already, but side by side with Raikkonen, he manages to get us around the outside, but he kind of just tucks in behind Leclerc there on the racing line and doesn't really go anywhere, so we take his position once again, squeeze him out, and that is P12. And it's not over yet. He's coming back at us on the start-finish straight at the start of lap 2. We're going to see if we can hold it around the outside through turn 1. We'll have the inside for turn 2, and that is job done. So at this stage with my...
Power from the engine is going to be down slightly and showing some minor wear.
So at this stage with my freshly upgraded car, I'm just testing the waters. How can we fight? Like, how do we fare up against some of the front runners? For example, the Ferraris. Can we hold them off in a race scenario? That's what I'm kind of sussing out in the early stages of this Grand Prix. Raikkonen to the outside as we go through the middle sector, turn 10. I think we just about hold him off there, but that Ferrari is so quick. So quick. There's not too much we can do about it if he gets a good run off the final corner, which he has done. Turn 1 was atrocious though, but he gets us. Pretty frustrating in the end because I did kind of let him go, and then he goes and drives turn 1 like that, which is annoying. Here goes Vettel into turn 4. Up the inside, he shows the nose. I decided because I let Raikkonen go, I may as well let Vettel go through as well and see if I can follow these guys in a train. Here goes Alonso. He's making contact with not only his teammate, but I think Kevin Magnussen as well with an engine failure, and we have to avoid that at the last second. So, yeah, no safety car again. I have safety car enabled. That's the reason why we're getting VSCs. But we're just not getting the full course caution yet. I don't understand. But anyway, virtual safety car is ending now. This might be a really good chance with the field bunched up in front of us to overtake a lot of cars here. DRS has been enabled. It's now open. We're going to go for a lunge up the inside of many cars into turn 10. What position were we in? Was it like P15? We're now P7. How many spots did we just gain there? That was unbelievable. Someone up the front didn't have a front wing, and then there was a lot of cars that just locked up and kind of stuck behind each other. And now we find ourselves in P7. That was me firing up the inside of everyone from the onboard of Charles Leclerc. That has got to be... No, unquestionably, I have no doubt in my mind that that is the most positions I have gained in one corner, let alone maybe even a lap. Holy crap. But anyway, it's lap 5. We're attacking the Force India of Esteban Ocon. Sergio Perez is doing a counter-attacking move on me into turn 1. That's not going to work. And we hold on to P6. So, man, we really can fight now with these upgrades. The front downforce just makes such a difference at high speed. We've got, better straight line speed as well, so it helps in overtaking. And the car is just lighter and more nimble. So, every area of the car is better. And it's so noticeable. It's so good. I can't stress this enough how nice this car feels to drive already, and it's only race 5. Anyway, battling away with Esteban Ocon here. We've been side by side for half a lap, and it looks like it might finally end as we have the inside for the final chicane, and that is P5, potentially P4 as well as Stoffel Van Dorn makes his pit stop. So the order in this Grand Prix was really shaken up. Oh, Valtteri's out. Hey, well done. Karma. possibly, for the last episode. But yeah, the order was really shaken up because of the wet qualifying. A lot of people got through, maybe not based on merits in terms of raw speed, but maybe just timing their qualifying laps well. So that's why as well, I don't really know where we stand yet in terms of our car performance. But now, a lot of the front runners have cleared the midfield runners, so there goes Raikkonen into P2. So we were running second there, legitimately, for a few minutes there, so that was a highlight. This is Hamilton now, who has made his first stop, and he's going to take us off of the podium now as he goes around the outside. There's no real point fighting these guys. I know who I'm in a battle with in this race, and it's not the front three teams. We're just not at that level yet. So we just gotta accept that. The sooner we accept that and just let them go without holding ourselves up, the better we can run our own race. So from here, it's all about managing the traffic really well. Again, knowing who we're going to fight and seeing if we can finish best of the race. I think we're affected P5 or P6 in this Grand Prix. And as everyone starts to make their stops, we'll get a bit more track position. We stopped a little bit later than some people. I think we're on a 1 stop, whereas other people are on a 2 stop and have already stopped, so they've undercut us by quite a bit. So a lot of the people you're seeing right now in front of me, they need to pit again. So we don't need to get in a battle with them too much. So from here, for the next, I don't know, couple of laps, I'm just going to ease into this tyre step. We've got to take these mediums quite long into the Grand Prix, another 18 laps. It should be doable. The tyre wear this year feels very realistic. If you look after your tyres, you can eke them out for a very, very long time, especially on a harder compound. So if we play this right, we should be able to get home fairly easily to the end now. We did 15 laps on softs. It should be a walk in the park to get the mediums to the end now, but the trouble is getting through the traffic now and not getting held up too much. You can see Sainz and Van Dorn, 2 guys who we're effectively already ahead of in this race. We need to re-overtake because they, still need to make another stop, so we're not really racing with them, so we don't want to get held up by them too much. But I'm just watching this battle here. I'm just a backseat passenger to this, and this was actually on a, non-biased level, really, really awesome to watch. It's just a shame that it was happening right in front of me, but we see an opportunity. We dive up the inside of the final chicane, and that is us up into the top 10 now. Next up is Sainz. We'll see if we can actually gain on him on the straight here. One thing that's worth noting is our car is actually the 4th best car in the field in terms of its engine now. Actually ahead of Ferrari, and we're putting that to good use now in the slipstream of Carlos Sainz to the outside through turn 1, and we mucked that up a little bit, I'm not going to lie, but we just about get away with that with fresh tyres around the outside, and that is P8 for the taking. So yeah, coming to the second half of the Grand Prix now, a lot of the people were starting to pull into the pits, made life pretty easy for me. Pierre Gasly makes his stop, and he was the last one kind of around us to make his stop, and from here on in, it was just managing the tyres and managing the gap for the end of the race. Obviously, our power unit is now starting to feel a little bit worse for wear, so I was keeping an eye on that over the course of this Grand Prix. I think it's over 60% on the MG UK. That was the worst part. On this lap in particular, we're just responding to the cars behind who were closing in quite a bit. I decided to punch in a personal best just to say, hey, I got this covered, alright? And then for the rest of the race, I was in absolutely just cruising mode, cruise control to the end. Max Verstappen wins the Grand Prix. First win for him. That'll get him in the championship hunt, I'd imagine. But for us, the final 3 laps, we're just absolutely cruising. Not really changing gears all too much. I was looking after the gearbox, looking after the tyres, and of course looking after the engine, just not putting too much stress into anything, and just really securing P6 without having to push the car too much. So yeah, we're getting to the point in the season where a lot of our parts are starting to get worn, so that's obviously a consideration we need to take into effect. But P6, best result of the season by far.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
And I can see now the drivers are making their way out. We need Red Bull fighting at the front. They do an incredible amount for Formula One, and that's another winner's trophy heading back to Milton Keynes.
So there we go, that was the Spanish Grand Prix. For me, all the action happened in the first half of the race. We did the work, we got through the field, we did that 8 or 9 car overtake into one corner, got us the track position. looked after the tyres, did the one stop and brought it home. It was a simple Grand Prix, but the platform that I had, the car that I had, just enabled me to just get on with the job and not really get tangled up in too much racing in the second half of the race. So that was really lucky. If not for the upgrades, we would have really fallen into the clutches of the midfield doing their 2-stop towards the end there. But there we go, 8 points. I'm not too sure where that puts us in the drivers. Unfortunately, I didn't look, but it certainly does us a world of good.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it? You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you? It looks like you've invested heavily in the development of new parts.
That's not what you were saying every race up until now, was it?
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, everything looks good now in front of the media, now that we've actually upgraded the car. I look better, Charles looks better, although he didn't really show it in this race, he had a bad one. He had a problem that set him back halfway through the Grand Prix, and I don't think he actually ever really recovered from that. He did the one stop as well, but just had no pace, so he ended up in P17. But what an episode, what a Grand Prix. I'll get an update on the drivers and the constructors standings for the start of the next episode. I can't believe I just completely missed that after that race. I think I was just distracted by the fact that we had an awesome race. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. The next episode will be the Monaco Grand Prix, so expect another fiery episode when we head to that racetrack. I'm hoping for, honestly, more points and maybe even a Q3 appearance in the dry. Again, it's going to be hard to judge where we actually stand in the field because it's Monaco. I naturally do better there anyway, and the AI don't normally do as well there. But I'm going to get as many points as I can, build the momentum, and see if we can negotiate even better terms for our next contract renewal. But guys, that's it for today. You're seeing on screen some upgrades that we're doing to the car again. I believe we're doing a major upgrade to the rear downforce because the front downforce made such a difference. And there was actually a little bit of a discrepancy between the balance of the car, front and rear. I had to run a little bit more rear wing than what I normally would, but that was fine, that was manageable. So rear downforce going on in time for Canada. And we're also going to do a department efficiency, quality control upgrade for the aero, just to make doubly sure that this upgrade does not fail, because getting 2 major upgrades in such a short span of time is going to be absolutely monumental for our championship hopes. Not that we're battling for the championship, but you know what I mean. It's going to vault us up the order quite a lot by the time we get to the likes of Silverstone, Hungary, those kind of circuits. We're going to be able to battle quite hard going forward. But that's it for today, guys. Next episode, the Monaco Grand Prix, should be an exciting one. Hopefully we can just keep piling on the pressure and the results will come. In terms of the actual power unit, tricky situation. It's getting quite worn and I don't want to run a new power unit at Monaco. Same with the gearbox as well. That's getting quite old and faulty. So we're going to have to work on a fix, and I don't want to chuck in new parts for that race. So it'll be interesting no matter what happens. Until then, I'll see you next time.